Hello, my name's Carol Fallour. I've written a book which I would like to talk to you about. The title of the book is You Have Been Chosen. And actually, you have been chosen. I have been chosen. We all have been chosen. The world is not ours. We didn't make it. We're part of it, but we didn't have a great part in its creation, although we're learning more and more as we go along about how we actually do participate in the creation of the world. So when we say you have been chosen, what it actually means is we, all of us, have been chosen to create this world as it will be in the future. The driving force of existence on this earth is the word evolution. Some scholars have even referred to the term God as being the urge to evolve. We are constantly moving on. You know that as well as I. You know that your life is always changing. You know that the world is always changing. And you can especially look at technology and see what has happened in that regard in the last 100 years, let's say, and only imagine what may happen in the next 100 years. So technology is evolving very rapidly, but we as individuals are also evolving. If you go back and look at the history of life on Earth, what you find is, and that most scientists are pretty much in agreement now, that life came probably originally from the ocean waters. Chemicals got together, began to connect together, and began perhaps to form some sort of chemical that could reproduce itself. That's the essence of life. There are some new theories now that maybe life also began in volcanoes, but at any rate, it's the same basic thing. Life began as simple forms and remained that way for millions and millions of years. We have the evolutionary process where you had animals living in the oceans. Then eventually there was the evolution onto land with the amphibians. And then from there we had the dinosaurs, and we had on up through higher forms of organisms. And so at this particular point, we normally refer to man as the present highest level of evolution. Now, what has happened has been that in that process of one organism evolving into another organism is that there has been a gradual improvement in the structures of the body, gradual improvement in the finery, so to speak, of the individual structures. For example, the eye that we have, the brain that we have, was not available to organisms before us. And at this point, as I had said before, it is sometimes looked upon as though that is the highest level at this point. It makes one wonder if indeed there isn't something higher that we may evolve into eventually. If that's the case, then we will be part of it. And that's what the title of the book means when it says, you or we have been chosen, because what we do will influence the development of the future. There is a scientist by the name of Rupert Sheldrake in England. He's a very noted scholar, and he has been the head of the biology department at Cambridge University. And he has a theory, and it's called the theory of morphogenetic resonance. And what that theory says is that basically, as we live our lives, the way we live our lives, the decisions we make, the attitudes, etc., that we have, they contribute to a field of resonance. And this field of resonance is something like a field of gravity. You can't see gravity, but if you take a magnet and you put some iron filings on it, you can see how they form around the magnet and create a field. Well, the ideas and the behaviors that we contribute to the world also feed into this morphogenetic resonance. Now, it has two parts. There is what might be called a good part and a negative part. The good part, the positive morphogenetic resonance, contributes to the positive development of mankind. The negative part would detract from that. And it's not unlike what Jesus himself said when he said, "You're either with me or you're not." If you're with me, you're contributing to the positive development of this world. If not, then you're contributing to the negative aspect of this world. So what the book is about is saying you have been chosen, and if you can look at it from the standpoint of your own responsibility in this, you'll realize that it is much better, of course, if we can contribute to the positive morphogenetic resonance from the standpoint of improving not only ourselves as individuals, but when we improve ourselves as individuals, we also contribute to that resonance, and that then contributes to the development of the rest of the world. And at this particular point, we are at a certain place in development. We certainly still have a lot of negative things in the world, but there is something that we can do about it. The book itemizes various activities and behaviors that you can use that will contribute to not only your own growth, but will contribute in the long run to the growth and development of the entire world and bring along this advantageous time of evolution in the case of man. So I hope the book sounds interesting to you, and I hope that you will consider giving it some thought and perhaps purchasing one and enjoying it. And if you do, my name and my email address will be in it, and you can certainly contact me if you choose. Thank you very much.